what's been always extraordinary about you is like the sneaky shit, like the Darren Till knockout. Yeah. We stepped in and threw that hook. Like, ooh, that was at the time when Darren Till had so much hype on him.
Yeah, he was like number 3 at the time. I had like a year layoff, came back, went to his own town and did it, you know. Just like I'm about to do to Leon's bitch ass. I'm gonna go to England and knock his fucking head off his shoulders. Cause that's a good style matchup for me. He's not a wrestler he can't wrestle for 5 rounds. And he's not better technically than me. He's gonna have to stand there with me and fucking throw blows, and that's where I'm gonna fucking hurt that dude, bro.
Can't look past Gilbert though, right?
Never look past any man, but I started training not for Gilbert, but I started training period. I'm gonna say like 4 months ago. So I'm one of the best shapes of my life. I haven't gotten no injuries, and my mind is right, man. For a long time, I didn't want to fight. I had a lot of things outside of the ring that weren't going right, so I wasn't trying to compete while all these other fucked up things were happening. I got 3 felonies on one side of the thing. I got some lawsuits, got injuries, got losses. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of bad juju I got to get out of my life. So I did, you know, and training and putting in the time, especially in the areas where I'm not so great. And now I feel like it's all been paying off, you know. And I'm not looking past Gilbert, but I am going to make him a stepping stone, an example. And I'm going to say now because it's what's going to happen. And it's going to be a movie ending. I'm going to go fight Leon after that. And I'm going to fucking rip his head off, you know. Not in person. I know he can't stand me, but I give a fuck less about him. I just want that belt, you know.
There is Colby. And Dana has said that Colby is going to fight for the title.
Who knows? You know, Dana says a lot of things.
He does say a lot of things. I love
Dana. But, you know, now he's defended the belt against one of the best pound-for-pound guys. Leon, I heard, is coming to Miami. I just got to do my job.
He's coming to Miami this weekend? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I heard that he's going to be there, you know. Didn't he say that he was going to Miami?
I don't know. I would imagine he would want to be there.
Yeah, I heard in one of the interviews that he was coming to Miami, so I'm going to make sure I do my job and perform and fight and forget about all the other stuff. I'm just going to go out there, take care of Gilbert, and then let the chips fall where they may, you know.
What happened with you and Colby?
He's a bitch, bro. He showed his true colors for the money, for the pay-per-view. He'd talk about my kids, my family, to maybe sell
and
extra
pay-per-views.
No, not friends. I was fucking everything. His mentor. I was already in Strikeforce. I had competed against Gilbert Melendez. I was an established pro when he came over to American Top Team. I was living up at American Top Team. I had an apartment over there for like about a year and change. He broke his hand. His girlfriend had fucking kicked him out of the place because he had given her fucking herpes and shit. No, I'm dead ass serious. So he had like nowhere to fucking live. So he asked if he could crash on my couch. I was like, yeah, fuck it, bro. We're both on this journey together. We train together. We play poker together. Fucking this and that. So I basically fed this dude for a fucking year. Lived on my couch. Didn't give me a fucking dollar because he didn't have a job. I had a fucking broken hand. It's all documented. It's all him on YouTube saying, Jorge Masvidal was my best friend. If it wasn't for Jorge, I wouldn't be here. And this and that. And then, you know, I'm at 155, so then I come up to 170 and I start stealing not stealing, but I start getting a lot of shine for myself. A lot of eyeballs start looking at me, and immediately, instead of like, yeah, we're fucking boys, we could fight, or whatever the fuck, he turns into something fucking ugly, you know, like everything that I did for you, you're trying to use it against me, especially my kids. He knows the relationship I have with my kids, and you're trying to use that against me. You're a fucking piece of shit. But before all that happened, I already knew he wasn't a good person because my striking coach, this is when we cut ties, me and him. My striking coach trained him from his amateur all the way to his Rafael dos Anjos fight. And he did a handshake deal with him, 5% on your fights. You know, if you make $1,000, you make $500,000. 5% is what you're going to pay me because that's what Joe Romero pays me. That's what Jorge Masvidal pays me. That's what all the guys that train with him pay him, you know, and he's like accessible at all times. He will drive an hour this way, drive an hour back that way, and just give you all his knowledge. And that's what he wanted, you know. And they shook hands on it. As soon as Colby made money, what did he do? Didn't pay my coach. So since then, I was like, bro, I want to fucking take a bite to his fucking neck. And my coach was like, don't do it, bro. You'll fight him, and that way, that's how you'll get him for both of us. You know, I didn't get him that time, but I promise you, before my career's over, I'm gonna fucking murder Colby in the cage, legally.
What happened illegally?
Allegedly, a lot of things happened.
Allegedly.
I don't know. They're saying a lot of things, but it's all allegedly, cuz. Shit, man.
Allegedly is a great word.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about, man. But legally, in the cage, in the UFC, I'm going to fucking snatch his soul one way or another. And that's also something that, you know, losing a piece of shit like that, you know, like if you let somebody come into you and you share something with me, like, man, something is very dear to me. It's this moment where my mom, blah, 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 and this and that. And then I would use that because me and you had a falling out. It really shows your fucking character. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit, bro. you know? And that's why nobody fucks with this guy. Like, nobody fucks with this guy in any level, in any accord, you know?
Well, it's a crazy story.
John Jones can't stand him. He had a very similar thing with John Jones.
He changed who he was when the UFC was about to cut him. And he decided to become like a wrestling heel.
Shit on a whole country just for what? Like,
it worked though. I mean, the thing about it is, it's kind of genius in the fact that it really did get people paying attention to him.
In a negative way, but you know, I feel that he could have just been beating people, put more time into the craft rather than Twitter and trying to copy other heels, and it would have been fine. Like, this guy just, oh, what is Conor doing today? Let me go do that on a cheaper, shittier way, you know? Like, be fucking you, bro. You know, just fucking go out there and beat dudes up and say what you gotta say, and it'll come to you. Well, it took me a while to get here, you know? I had to fucking knock out and beat numerous fucking people, ex-world champions, to get here, but it'll come. You don't have to sell out for the fucking dollar, bro.
What was it like fighting him?
I want to fucking kill him. I want to hurt him. But it wasn't the best version of me, bro. It just wasn't the best version of me. And, you know, in this sport, this is what I love about it. It's like, what happened, and everything else is bullshit, right? So until we fight again, nobody will get to see that better version of me. But I promise you, Joe, before I close this chapter in my life in MMA, I will have competed against this guy. I'm going to fucking take his soul, bro. I just know it after being those 5 rounds in there with him. And that was the best that he had. And that was nowhere near my best at that time for different reasons. I knew I could fucking end this guy.
What if the UFC comes to you and says you versus Colby, winner for the title? Do you think that's a possible scenario?
That's definitely a possible scenario.
Especially if
I would love that, because I'd stop him from his dream of fighting for that title.
If you could somehow or another shock the world in a way with this Gilbert fight, where it's just undeniable, where people just get so fired up about it, and then he starts jabbing because he thinks that somehow or another you're going to take that title shot from him. That would be the scenario that I could see you guys.
Then I would take the title shot from him, you know, and I'd go fight Leon. And since the start of it, I said this from a technical aspect, like, I fight nothing but wrestler after wrestler after wrestler after wrestler. So it's like, I said it numerous times in interviews, like, I want to fight guys that are a little bit more favorable for my style while I work on my wrestling. It's not that I'm putting wrestling to the back burner, but while I'm learning techniques, I'm flying in different coaches across the country just to come wrestle with me, work from the basics, work from zero all the way up. And that's what I've been doing the last 6 months.
The thing about the Colby fight was Colby is a very good wrestler.
And he has a good gas tank, and he's a fucking leech. You know, that collegiate style, one thing that they could, you know, you could see from any of those guys is they could fucking dig down deep and get like a takedown when they're tired. They're good at putting themselves at bad spots and scoring. And also, not to like fucking make excuses, but I also do think that the rules are favored heavily towards like a grappler wrestling type, because if you're on your knees sniffing crotches, I should be able to fucking knee you in the face.
Yes.
Like, what is this bullshit that I can't if a guy's like this,
right,